every talk is talking about collaboration being the key to payroll raising its profile strategically, right? You collaborate really well with the payroll org, but it's collaboration not just with stakeholders, but internally with HR and finance. It's also global collaboration between industry bodies that are all trying to raise the profession or the profile of the profession. I think 5 years ago, employee experience just didn't really come into the realm of payroll. We didn't connect the two things together. And now employee experience is like paramount in the world of payroll. Like we've seen the great resignation, we've seen the world of payroll evolve and change. So communication now, I think, is a soft skill. It's almost one of the most important skills payroll people need.
Welcome to the Payroll Podcast, the show that explores the latest insights and innovations in the world of payroll.
Hello and welcome back to the Payroll Podcast. My name is Nick Day. I'm CEO at JGA Recruitment Group. We're specialist payroll recruiters operating in the UK, in Europe, and of course now in the US of A. So if you do need support with any of your payroll staffing requirements, please do get in touch with us at jgarecruitment.com, or if in the US, jgarecruitmentinc.com. And we would love to help you. Now, today is all about installment number 2 of the multiple interviews that I managed to have when I was at the 42nd Payroll Congress in Nashville. So I'm delighted to bring even more industry luminaries to the conversation, just short, sharp interviews telling us all about the future of payroll and, of course, their thoughts, feelings, and experiences at the Congress as well. Before we do so, we're going to jump into a quick advert from one of our sponsors, and then the interviews will be with you very, very soon. So stay tuned and enjoy the second installment of our payroll interviews from industry leaders at the 42nd Payroll Congress in Nashville. Today's episode of the Payroll Podcast is sponsored by Deel. Now take a moment to consider the following pre-show scenario. Imagine you had to visit 6 different houses just to cook your dinner. One place has the pots and the pans, another has the stove, another has the food. You get the idea. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, the reality is most global businesses operate exactly the same way, using 6 different tools and platforms just to play their global workforce. But now there's one platform offering truly simple, truly global payroll, and that's today's sponsor. That's Deel. That's Deel. And Deel's fully managed global payroll makes it possible to pay your entire team in over 100 countries and in over 200 currencies, all in one place. So whether you're an enterprise company, a small business, or something in between, Deel is built to meet your unique business needs. With in-house customer success managers, local payroll experts, and more, Deel's fully managed global payroll eliminates third-party handovers and instead provides unmatched compliance and flexibility. In fact, they'll even help you track and flag the latest changes in payroll regulations before they even become an issue. And with 24/7 monitoring and best-in-class security protocols, your sensitive data is always protected. So are you ready to change your global payroll system? If you are, click the link in the show notes to book your demo with Deel today. So here we are back at Congress with the networking lounge. I'm joined by 2 legends of the game. The payroll guy, someone who I loved meeting last year at Congress, Gerard, and Pabo from Ubisoft as well. So listen, how are you both finding... I've just literally steamrolled this conversation, right? But
That's fine.
you're here networking peacefully. I've come into the middle. How are you finding Congress this year? I'll start with you, Gerard.
Congress is great. It's always a great time. Lots of great education, an exciting time, being able to network and see your fellow payroll professionals. So having a great time.
Fantastic. And yourself, Pabo?
Mentally and physically exhausting in a good way.
No, I get it. I spoke to Jim earlier, new president, of course, of Payroll Org. I think he was just shattered. I think he's been non-stop. Right. You know, we're on day 4 now. I've lost track. We're near the end of Congress. Everyone's had a good time. What's been your favorite moment so far? What's been your highlight?
Well, this is the first year I actually got to speak, so that's a pretty big highlight, being able to be appreciated to actually speak and facilitate your education. So that was the highlight for me this year.
Okay, well, let's jump into that. What were you speaking about? Tell us a little bit about how it went. What are the takeaways? People can no longer make your workshop right now. It's in the archive. So let's assume we're giving a 2-minute snapshot of your talk and the takeaways. Tell us a little bit about your talk.
Absolutely. So I had 2 sessions. So the first session was the W-4, Form W-4, and the impact on tax calculations. And then the second session was about changing pay frequencies. And it was very well received, had a lot of great compliments. We're always going to laugh because I enjoy having a good time. But it was very impactful just to see how many people took away a lot of stuff and were appreciative of both sessions.
Fantastic. So what's the key takeaway we can give our listeners now? What can they learn? What's something we can pass over?
As far as the W-4, a lot of people were actually shocked to find that, people who file exempt have to fill out a new W-4 every year if they want to continue filing exempt. Like, that's something that, of course, I know in teaching the class, but there were a lot of people like, is that true? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, it's true. And so it sounds like they're going to be making quite a bit of changes once they get back to the office. So
there may be more now they've heard this. They're going to think the same thing. And what about changing pay frequency? What's your number one tip?
Making sure that you're complying in the state. Changing pay frequency is the easiest part is actually making the change. The hardest part is making sure that you're actually complying in the change.
Very nice, fantastic. And of course, if you came to the Congress, you can get the whole speak. And I imagine you'll be speaking again next year in Orlando, fingers crossed.
I plan to. We shall see.
And Pablo, what's been your highlight?
My highlights, the sessions, definitely the networking. I've been trying to soak up as much surrounding global payroll as possible. There's a lot. I've found that there's more sessions each year on global payroll available, and I've been jumping into all of them. My biggest takeaway from those sessions is that there is absolutely no way that you can know everything about global payroll. You cannot understand payroll in every single country. And it's about finding the right connections, the right people, the right people and places to reach out to for information to be able to succeed in that genre.
Amazing. Well, I think that's been a pretty much a common theme for the people I've met today, and people I've been interviewing is, a lot of people want to give back. I know both of you like to give back to the industry as well, but also this has probably been the most globally focused Congress that anyone's been to. And of course, payrolls evolved that way. More people have global payrolls now than ever before. And I think this is the first time where people have come and gone, you know what, if I'm not doing global now, I'm still going to go to the workshop because this could impact me later, right? What's been your favorite, if you can pick one workshop you've attended then so far?
Well, I stepped in for the last 10 minutes of Gerard's latest. That was great. He's a great speaker. So I'm actually going to step away from the global part, though. I think for me, the last analytics session that I attended was very useful, helping me to design some KPIs. As I move into the global realm, I'm still taking that analytics framework and moving that into that section, and I think it will prove very useful.
Fantastic. Well, they say data is the most powerful currency in the world now. So, and when it's in payroll, have access to more data than almost any other function. Joe, what's been your favorite workshop you've managed to attend?
Oh, that's a good one. There have been some really, really good workshops. I would say I definitely enjoyed the regular rate of pay workshop. It was very well attended, and a lot of people had some eye-opening items, because that's quite a, when you're looking through the questions that people are asking in the community, a lot of it is around regular rate of pay. And do I have to, is this eligible for overtime? Do I have to include this in the regular rate of pay? So I was glad that they were able to dissect it and give really real-life examples with it.
Fantastic. And of course, it's not just about the workshops. I've seen both of you present at every party that I've been at so far. You guys like to party and have a good time as well. And that's part of what this experience is about, right? It's not everyone has to party if you come, but if you do, there's lots to get involved in. Absolutely. So let's take it away from the workshops. What's been your favorite sort of party time so far? What have you enjoyed? I'll come to you, Pablo.
The whole thing's a party, right?
Fair.
I don't think the party's ever ended. The event last night was fun. There was a lot going on. I enjoyed the little booths that they had set up. I liked sticking my arm behind a wall and pulling it back and getting the tattoo.
A hidden tattoo, wasn't it? A hidden tattoo. What did you get? What was your tattoo?
Transformation, payroll transformation.
Okay.
Yeah. It's already washed away, so.
Well, good to see you embraced it, nonetheless. That's nice. I mean, you're happy whether you're drinking your hand or not, Gerard. You bring a great energy into the space. You're known as the payroll guy. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's pretty hard to create your own moniker, right? But everyone knows you. They see you. Hey, it's the payroll guy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, back in 2018, I had just made the decision, with helping people and answering people's questions, a lot of people were coming in my inbox and saying, hey, I saw you answered this. Can I ask you this question? And just realizing that, wow, I'm actually a trusted voice in this industry, which is still surreal even 6 years later. But in 2018, I made the step and actually created a name, that payroll guy. And the main reason why I created it is because a lot of people usually mispronounce my name. So I was just like, let's come up with something that people can actually remember. And so it's just wild to see where it's come. And I'm appreciative of being able to give back to the community.
Yeah, nice. We're going back to that give back thing, right? It's such a common theme. I'm now concerned. I've been calling you mispronouncing your name. Is it not Gerard?
It's Gerard. No,
okay.
You're right.
Feeling nervous now. It's like he's been calling me the wrong name the whole time. So we've got, 24 hours left of Congress. What are you most looking forward to then before we finish? I'll come back to you, Pablo.
Well, our good friend Sarah Chastney will be participating in this next general session, so I'm very excited to see her up on stage.
I can't miss that. She is, again, great energy. She is a superstar. She probably made me feel the most welcome when my first Congress. And someone told me that she used to be a bit of an introvert. I can't believe that.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
I heard that earlier today, and I'm not convinced that's true. But yeah, she's a superstar. So I'm assuming you'll be in the same session. Anything else that you're looking forward to in the next 24 hours?
Sleep. It's the short answer.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, listen, thanks to both of you joining us. I'm assuming I'm going to see both of you in Orlando.
Yes,
Of course.
that's the plan.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, listen, thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the Congress, and I can't wait to connect again. That's what this is all about.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
man.
Thank you, Nick.
So we're still at Congress, still in the networking lounge. I'm now joined by Tiffany Gray from Riverside Systems, and you're a speaker as well this year. Firstly, before we jump into your talk, how have you found Congress this year? The 42nd Congress, how have you found it?
I find it to be exciting, engaging. I'm so excited about the newbie energy. I don't like calling them payroll virgins, but I mean, they're so excited. They're so motivated. So I'm very excited.
I feel like there's been more newbies this year than I've ever seen before. Like,
Me too. I couldn't agree more, Nick. I couldn't agree more. And I'm so excited about that. And they're coming with like this hunger to learn and take everything back with them. So it's exciting.
it's really exciting. Now, I know I've seen on your I can't remember what you call these things, but you've got speaker on there. You've got a lot of things on there, actually, right? You're heavily involved. Tell me about the talks you've been involved in and what they've been about.
Okay, well, my first session was about customer service and payroll, which we love. And my last session, which was today, was the transformation of payroll communication. And so really, we're really trying to just equip payroll professionals with, one, how to professionally and tactfully engage with customers in the payroll space. And then in the communication piece, how to do that in a way that keeps your voice active and making sure that your communication is concise and clear.
See, I think that's super important because I think 5 years ago, employee experience just didn't really come into the realm of payroll. Like, we didn't connect the two things together. And now, employee experience is like paramount in the world of payroll. Like, we've seen the Great Resignation, we've seen the world of payroll evolve and change. So communication now, I think, is a soft skill. It's almost one of the most important skills payroll people need.
All of the data tells us that executives, hiring recruiters, they're looking for someone who's able to effectively communicate, not just in a written manner, but in a verbal manner as well, specifically in the payroll space. And now, like you said so eloquently, this is the time where employees really have the leverage to say, I want to be spoken to a certain kind of way. I want my pay a certain kind of way. And also I want to have an understanding of my pay that goes just beyond, this is what you get.
Right. And that's one of the best things about that experience is it's going to elevate payroll because now we're involved in that experience. It allows us to have more strategic involvement in the whole experience of our employees. And no companies don't exist without employees, right? The most important asset that we have. And now payroll have a new touch point. So what are you most excited about then for the future? We'll go fast forward to Payroll Org 43 in Orlando. We've been talking about AI this year. We've been talking about communication. What are we going to be talking about next time?
I think we'll still be on the same trajectory. Sean, one of the main general sessions. Yes,
He was amazing, wasn't he?
He was outstanding. And I'll tell you why, because in this, payroll is a highly transactional environment. And only when we come to things like this do we really get the opportunity to kind of let loose because we're around people who understand our language. But what I loved about his presentation was that he challenged us to be bold. And he challenged us to do things that we're not comfortable with, getting out of that comfort zone. So I think that we're on a really great trajectory in that. And I think we're going to start to see more payroll professionals expressing themselves creatively in this very transactional space.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And actually, for the other guests I've had, we've talked a lot today about the value of going to the workshops, the value of the expo. the value of the community, people wanting to give back. But you just highlighted a really good point of something I haven't discussed yet, which was, as a keynote, Sean Kanungo was fantastic. He disrupted the way that we look at payroll. He made everyone stand up and think.
Yes.
And that's another thing. So every Congress, we get to see some amazing speakers they bring in.
Absolutely. It was just a pleasure to be invited to speak. It's an honor.
So I'm conscious of time, and we've got another great workshop coming up in a minute with Sarah Chesney. So a last question really then for you is 3 key takeaways from your talks. For people that couldn't make your workshop, people that haven't made it to Congress this year, but want to extract the information, what are the 3 key takeaways you can give them today?
Well, for customer service, I want you to remember it's not personal. Pay is very personal to individuals. And so as empathetic as we can be in putting ourselves in their spot, just remember that. Also, in your communication, do the best that you can to keep it positive, keep a positive tone. And then also remember, what is your message? Make sure that your thoughts are organized in a way that keeps the complexity and minimizes your misunderstanding.
Amazing. I get a sense you're very good at this. You're very articulate.
I'm not. I really am. I'm not. This is my very first Congress I've ever spoken at.
Well, I think you're an absolute natural. You've come into this environment, and I think you're a great role model for great communication. So, Tiffany, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So here we are. I'm joined by the one and only Jason from the CIPP. Now, he's an award winner this year.
Oh, thank you.
An award winner. You had to see it to believe it. I'll let Jason tell you why he's an award winner in just a moment. But how have you found Congress this year?
Oh, absolutely fantastic, Nick. Really enjoyed coming across. It's actually only my second time at Congress. I was in California some years ago when I was chair of the board with CIPP. I had that opportunity. Then COVID hit and then things changed a bit. But wonderful catching up with both new friends as much as old friends, you know. And let me come on to my award. Yes, the UK have been desperate to take part in the fancy dress that always takes place here, and we did so last night for the first time. We represented payroll through the eras and came as a 1920s Peaky Blinders team, and won our category. So ever so pleased.
All of them had sashes. I have to say, the fancy dress was pretty good. You'll see the pictures on LinkedIn if you haven't already. They're pretty impressive. But actually, the UK have done pretty well at the awards this year. Going to throw myself in there. I've got Global Vision Award. Pretty won the Titan Award. Tim Kelsey, Special Friend Award. Yeah. So it's been a pretty good sweep for the Brits that are here. For those that haven't come over from the UK before, but maybe you're considering coming to Congress, what would be the 3 key reasons why it may be worth a serious consideration?
Yeah, I think it's worth serious consideration because of trends. If you want to be in front of trends, the US is generally the place where you're going to see them coming out. We've heard so much about AI, about ChatGPT, the use of it, not to be scared of it, and also the changing shape of the workforce and how to manage remote workers, flexible considerations, those things, not to do with US complexity or legislation, very much about being in touch with what's happening at the moment, what are the new trends that are going to hit, and thought leadership across here. Really great to hear some of those things, because I know that we will absolutely be looking to give those considerations back in the UK.
One of the things I've quite enjoyed about seeing you guys out here, right, is nearly every talk is talking about collaboration being the key to payroll raising its profile strategically, right? But you collaborate really well with the payroll org. Obviously, you represent the Chartered Institute of Payroll Professionals, but it's collaboration not just with stakeholders, but internally with HR and finance. It's also like global collaboration between industry bodies that are all trying to raise the profession or the profile of the profession. Tell me a little bit more about kind of the work you've been involved in terms of your collaboration with Payroll Org.
So with Payroll Org, it's about looking at how we can support the payroll professional. You're right, it's about raising that career point. More recently, we've taken the data analytics course from Payroll Org, using their trainers, delivering that in the UK. I know Australia are looking to do the same thing. And we're super pleased to know that there's an advanced positions that coming out, so additional steps from that, and our people back in the UK can get the benefit of that. But in talking more broadly across industry, there's still a challenge for us to make sure that payroll can be seen as a career of choice. And so that's why we're doing lots of work with universities, lots of work in terms of understanding your pay slip. So not just for the professionals out there, it's about financial awareness for more broader community. And all of us, the organisations and associations that represent both in-country and more global, have got that as an objective to look to raise that, the profession and the career as a whole, because it's such a satisfying career.
And it's really nice to see the Chartered Institute of Payroll Professionals being, representing the UK payroll workforce here at such one of the biggest global payroll event in the world, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's really exciting. What's been because you're here with Claire Warrington as well. What's been your favourite workshop so far or favourite takeaway?
So I met with a lady called Pagine, and Pagine is all about the individual. She's all about how to get the best out of your teams, how to respect one another, and really help support the development of the individual. Each of her workshops, and I've been to 2 of those so far, have been inspirational. Some really good thinking and takeaways, and she's such a high energy, motivational speaker. You can't help but walk out with a smile on your face.
Yeah, that's nice. Maybe we'll get them over to the UK. We're going to see how people fly over.
Yeah.
For those that are watching this, you're seeing crowds of people. This will give you a bit of a scale of how many people are at this Congress, right? We're going into a really good workshop, which is going to be a good friend of mine, Sarah Chesney, I think is going to be involved in. But hopefully you can just see the masses coming past. Like, if you want to be involved in what is a global community of people that want to give back, want to network, want to elevate the profession, it's a good place to come, right?
Oh, absolutely. And a really important thing, which is something that was reflected on yesterday, when we talk about AI, there is still a human interaction. There absolutely will be the human touch. And that's why lifelong learning is so important. So continuous development. Every day is a school day is my own mantra. And so we're all learning all the time. So yeah, these are fantastic opportunities to come along to.
Yeah, I saw a talk by Michael Francis. It was about ChatGPT.
Yes.
And he was saying, we need to get rid of the term artificial intelligence, look at it as augmented intelligence.
Yes.
How our humans are really going to integrate with the technology, how we're going to utilize it smartly. And I think it's been a real education this year on AI. So it's certainly been a hot topic.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I think that it's demystifying and taking away the scary tone of it and just looking to utilize it as best as possible. We all have our resource challenges. So, hey, how can AI, whether that's augmented or artificial, how can it help us improve what we do and take that step forward?
Well, I know we both want to be in this session, and the crowds are filling, so I won't keep you much longer. But crystal ball for you, you're right at the precipice of what's going on in innovation in payroll. You have to be in your role at the CIPP. So what do you think we're going to be talking about a year from now in Orlando? What's going to be dominating the conversation?
I absolutely see AI being further part of that. ChatGPT is brand new to us, and it's what is that 2.0? What does that bring to us next? And how have we looked to embed that within the workforce? Who's making the best of those opportunities and helping to elevate them further? I think that's what
We're going to see some quite exciting use cases next year.
Yes.
And see how people are really using it, which will be good. Well, listen, Jason, thanks for joining me. Always a pleasure. Not just to chat with, but also to dance with. We were going till quite late last night. And I have to say, Jason's a bit of a mover on the dance floor, even in his fancy dress. So listen, thanks for joining us. Real pleasure as always. And enjoy the rest of the Congress.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you.
Hello, HR and people leaders. Are you not exhausted from the endless war for talent battle cries? I think it's time for a fresh approach. Which is why at JGA Recruitment, we understand the real challenges you face in sourcing top HR talent. And guess what? We believe we have the solution. Our team is on a mission to revolutionize your hiring process because we're not just recruiters. We're strategic partners dedicated to finding the best HR and people professionals who align perfectly with your company's vision and goals. Let's break the cycle of frustration together. Join forces with JGA Recruitment and experience the difference in hiring better talent faster. Don't let another day go by without taking action. Contact us today by visiting jgarecruitment.com to discover how we can transform your HR team. And here's a bonus. When you visit us, why not sign up for our weekly HR newsletter? Because it's packed with invaluable industry insights and more. We really hope you can revolutionize your HR department by working with JGA Recruitment. Contact us today.
So, hey, I'm super excited. I'm now joined by Davida, Lara, who is from Entertainment Partners. One of the biggest payrolls I've ever seen or come across. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But you're also a speaker. You gave a talk at 8 o'clock this morning.
I sure did.
The morning after the party the night before. Right, just to add that in there. Tell me, what were you talking about and how did they go?
So funny enough, I spoke about everything people thinking they knew about payroll was wrong.
Oh, go on, tell us more.
At a payroll conference, right? So obviously the title was catchy enough because I'm in a room full of experts. But what I wanted to do was change the conversation and the narrative about payroll not having a seat at the table and changing it to how you get the seat at the table or represent yourself as the seat, as the table.
Very nice. Let's just delve into that slightly, and we've got to be quick because we've got a big talk coming up in a minute. I don't want to hold you too long. But you have you're in a role now which has one of the biggest payroll functions that I've ever come across. Right? I think was it close to like 600,000?
Over 600,000 W-2s, another 200 1099, so almost 1 million people we pay in Hollywood.
I mean, that's crazy, right? And some of the most exciting people in Hollywood, right? We're talking actors, A-listers, celebrities.
Everyone in the credits, and that's what makes it so phenomenal. But they're people, and they got to get paid for what they do too. So I'm honored to do it.
So what's the biggest challenge of managing a payroll of that size and scale? Because certainly for people in the UK, it's going to blow their minds, right? That many employees, 1 million. I mean, this is nuts, right? So what are the biggest challenges that involves?
I think part of it is people don't understand it as much, right? I think the people you deal with don't understand how they get paid as much in this field. And the complexity is no different than anyone else. I think it's industry specific as far as how we calculate, but everybody has some sort of complexity. I just think our population don't know about their pay as much as other industries, right? So in manufacturing, they may come to you and say, hey, look at my pay slip. In entertainment, they don't see their pay slips most of the time and usually don't know there's an issue until later. So at year end, 500, 600,000 people have the potential to call and going, what is this again?
I can't even start to imagine. I'll be honest, it just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. So what's been your highlight for Congress so far?
I just think reconnecting after the pandemic and seeing people smile again. I think my favorite thing is changing the conversation. In the beginning, everybody was thinking, I got to get my payroll down. Now people are smiling and they're excited. And I think I'm hoping when they go back that they're going to change the discussion about payroll being sexy.
Yeah, hallelujah to that if we can get that done, right? You're also involved in the executive panel that I was involved in yesterday, the executive summit. So that was very much talking about the future of payroll, how AI is going to impact. You're obviously at the cutting edge of that with such a large payroll as well. What was your key takeaway or biggest takeaway from the executive summit?
I think, first of all, we got to keep doing that because that diversity of thought was absolutely amazing. Different industries, different levels in organizations. I mean, I think what I got from it was the different ideas on how we change payroll around the people, the processes and technology, and help each other. And the most important thing is not to push everything we do in the U.S. globally, which I think I've been guilty of once upon a time in the past. So a lot of lessons learned from me, but hearing it again was really important. I think it'll be helpful. And as we go higher, and I'm an executive in my organization, which is rare, right, to be in the C-suite anyway. But the more of them that talk about we are already at the seat at the table will help the newer generation coming in to get excited about what we're doing. Yeah. So I think that's what I got out of it.
No, that's fantastic. And I want enough people at executive level, right? And that was very much a panel for people at C-suite. It was great from my perspective to see so many payroll people at C-suite in that session. And it was a really interactive, great session. For those watching this, maybe they've never come to Congress before, what would be the reasons you would give to inspire someone next year to, you know what, I'm going to book my ticket, I'm going to come to Orlando?
Well, first of all, it's Orlando. No, I'm kidding. No, I think Payroll Org does a brilliant job, even with the partnerships of continuing education. And that's what's so awesome about payroll. We have to continuously learn. I think you just talked about the evolution and compliance changing. We got to stay on our game. This is how we stay on our game. Our game, we come to Congress.
Fantastic. I know I'm going to get you on a feature-length show one time, so we'll get that booked in. I can see the crowd starting to thin, so it must be starting soon. So I won't keep you too much longer. But last question. What are we going to be talking about in Orlando? What's going to be the hot topic of conversation a year from now if you had a crystal ball?
Let's call it not a crystal ball, but a magic 8 ball. If you remember, I'm old. Did I just say 8 ball? But I just think that you can ask that thing the same question and get 3 different answers. I think we have to watch it. AI will continue to be part of the conversation. It's fresh right now. But I think it'll be something else that comes up that we didn't know about. That's all.
And you happen to join me for a feature-length episode in the Payroll Podcast sometime?
I absolutely will. It's the best podcast in the world, so I have to.
And also, just to mention it, I introduced you to my song, right, My Payroll Career. Did you get a chance to listen to it? I did warn you it was cheesy.
But it's fantastic, though. I told you I was ready to do a video for it, and I plan on it.
There you go. So this time next year, I think what's going to be big is in Orlando. We're going to have everyone singing My Payroll Career, right? We'll get it all going. We'll get a global song going.
That'll be fantastic. I look forward to it, Nick.
Davida, thank you so much. I'm going to have you back. Go and enjoy the next talk, and I'll see you in there.
Take care.
So I thought I'd take this opportunity to do another quick interview with this fella. I'm going to go into the Jack Daniels restaurant in a minute and interview Charlotte Paterson Crowton, who's one of my consultants at JJ Recruitment, to find out how she's found Congress. But this individual wouldn't look out of place at Congress, to be honest. If anyone was at the party, there were some crazy outfits. Some were a lot more gold
than this guy here, good old Jack. But it's been a hell of a congress. Going in now for my final interview. So let's go meet Charlotte. So here we are back on the final day of Payroll Congress, and I'm joined by someone I know extremely well. I'm going to let her introduce herself. It's her first Payroll Congress. So Charlotte, just give us all a bit of an introduction and tell us a little bit about your first experience of Payroll Congress.
So hello, I'm Charlotte Paterson Croughton. I am a payroll newbie, or virgin, as they have called me this week. I've had a really, really lovely time, met some fantastic people, hopefully some clients, and some of the probably best people in payroll who have been very kind to me, and I hope to and look forward to working with them in the future as well.
Fantastic. Charlotte is, of course, a consultant with our business here at JJ Recruitment. So she's a specialist payroll recruitment consultant. Tell us about some of the wonderful people you've met, because you've met some of the real industry luminaries, some real famous payroll faces in the world of global payroll. Who've been some of the people you've got to meet for the first time this year?
Well, quite literally all of them, but probably the biggest person I met was Jim Bullock, the president. I had a fantastic conversation with him. Fidelma from Payslip, wonderful, wonderful woman. Sharon Tayside, some of the best people, and had fantastic conversations. On the implementation side, Ryan Yanetta, apologize if I've ruined that pronunciation there. Really, really fantastic people, all very kind, very friendly. Great conversations about where payroll's going and raising the profile and, getting some of the best people in for these roles. I honestly couldn't have asked for it to go better. So really, really grateful for all the time that they've given me as well to be so kind to a newbie at that. So yeah, fantastic, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. I actually was lucky enough to, I think we both did, catch Ryan's keynote, which was pretty amazing. He did a really, really great job. Been to lots and lots of workshops. Of course, you've been involved in reviewing some of the workshops. I believe you've reviewed 3 workshops, and they've been written up by payroll magazines and publishers as well. Tell us about the workshops that you caught, and tell us a little bit about the reviews. Give us a sneak preview.
Yeah, so I did 3 workshops. And all of those articles are actually out now on Congress today. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Some very, very important ones as well, talking about unions, payroll unions, which I know can be very difficult and very complex, about global program and payroll management, talking about the challenges that people face and trying to overcome those challenges, and getting a lot of really good expertise from those speakers as well, which was really, really interesting to hear. As well as meeting all those people and hearing what they had to say. I really enjoyed it. What's his name? Robert, remind me of his last name. Oh, God.
Oh, we can come back to it. I mean, it's been your first Congress. There was a little bit of nervousness coming to your first one, not necessarily knowing everybody. Obviously, I'm lucky we've been...
First time or so.
Exactly. I've been to 3 Congresses now. So what would you say to someone who hasn't come before, is nervous like you were about not knowing people, and they're thinking about coming to Orlando but aren't quite sure? What would you say?
Absolutely do it. I know it can be very difficult. It's challenging to put yourself out there. It's hard to put yourself in situations that you might not feel comfortable in, but they always pay off, and it's always a valuable, lesson. And speaking to these people are so friendly, and they really do welcome you with open arms. This community is fantastic. Everybody will speak to you with your red dot, and they really will be very kind. My biggest takeaway is that you don't have to wait until people approach you. Put yourself in the situation, shake hands, say who you are, where you're from, what your name is, and really build your network out. It is fantastic, and I couldn't have asked for a better first time.
Fantastic. And full disclosure, full transparency, I think we're recording this in the only Jack Daniel's restaurant in the world, certainly in America. And we're a little bit exhausted. It's been a full-on 4 days. There's been hundreds of workshops. Every night there's been a party. We're connecting with clients. So we're at the end of that now. Unfortunately, I'm going back to the UK. You're going back to Houston. If you were to sum up the 4 days very, very briefly for those who are watching this, what would you say?
I would say that it was insightful, educational, really fun. It was really fun. And it was all around a fantastic experience, from being a newbie and being nervous, like you said, to building out my network and finding, some of the best people in payroll. I really couldn't have asked for a better week.
Fantastic. Just want to say a huge thank you for everyone that's been tuning in to this show, whether you're listening to this on the Payroll Podcast or on the Pay Talk Podcast. I hope you'll be on this show this time next year on Orlando. If you've enjoyed these podcasts, hopefully I'll see you there and I can meet whoever it is that's watching this or listening to this right now on the show next time. So it's been a great Congress. We're going to finish up these interviews now, and we'll see you on the other side in Orlando. And that's about it. Thank you ever so much for listening to the Payroll Podcast, or indeed Pay Talk if that's where you're catching this episode. I hope some of the insights from those industry leaders have been helpful for you. My apologies if the audio was a little bit loud in the background on times or a little bit unclear. That's just the nature of recording in a live environment. Most importantly, I hope you did get a feel for the energy and the vibrancy that the payroll community has at what was an absolutely wonderful 42nd Payroll Congress. I hope I will see you all in the Congress in 2025, which is going to be in Orlando. So if you're a listener of this show, that's an opportunity for me to meet you and say hey, or for you to come and say hey to me. I would love to meet you. Maybe you can be on the next show that we do at the next Congress, which is going to feature more people. Again, I'm going to try and get through as many interviews as possible. So a huge thank you for listening. A huge thank you for subscribing to this show. If you do, if you don't, please do remember to press subscribe. Please do try and share this episode with as many payroll colleagues and friends as you can. Combined, we can really raise the profile of payroll, but it does require some collaboration. And last but by no means least, if you do get an opportunity to review the show, it massively impacts the visibility of the show on major podcast channels. So please do leave us a review. Just go to the app, click on 5 stars, and if you can leave a comment, that'd be absolutely awesome. And of course, if you are in need of payroll talent, which was a hot topic at this Congress this year, a lot of payroll professionals not knowing where they can find skilled payroll talent. They're telling me that talent acquisition teams can't find it, and they're trying to recruit people without payroll experience. You don't need to. The people are there, but you need to go to an expert who knows how to find it. That's where we can come in. So please do give us a call at jgarecruitment.com, or if you're in the US, jgarecruitmentinc.com. And we would absolutely love to support you with all of your staffing requirements. So please do get in touch. Right, that's me. My name is Nick Day, CEO. It's been an absolute pleasure to host this show as always. I look forward to bringing you the next episode of the Payroll Podcast real soon. Take care. Today's episode of the Payroll Podcast has been sponsored by Deel, the all-in-one global people platform that simplifies how you pay your global teams. Deel's fully managed global payroll makes it possible to pay your entire team in over 100 countries and in over 200 currencies, all in one place. So whether you're an enterprise business, a small company, or something in between, Deel is built to meet your unique business needs. With in-house customer success managers, local payroll experts, dedicated points of contact, and more, Deel's fully managed global payroll eliminates third-party handovers and it provides unmatched compliance and flexibility. In fact, they'll even help you track and flag the latest changes to payroll regulations before they even become an issue. And with 24/7 monitoring and best-in-class security protocols, your sensitive data is always protected. So are you ready to transform your global payroll system? If you are, click the link in the show notes and book your demo with Deel today.